Here at the Kohl Center in Madison, Wisconsin. The Badgers hosting the Indiana Hoosiers this afternoon. Let's get quickly to the starting lineups. The Indiana Hoosiers coming off their big win against Purdue. Recker with 27 points in that one. And Mason leads the way for Wisconsin. Sean Mason, he's their top scorer coming into this game today. Ready to go with a near capacity crowd, Coach.
For the Badgers to win, Mason has to get 16 points.
That would be almost 2 better than his average. And the opening tip, Booker Coleman way up to tip to Kelly as Wisconsin controls the opening tap. Indiana opening man-to-man. Here's Doherty for the Badgers over Gladness. Sean Doherty getting Wisconsin in front. Indiana coming in having won 4 in a row. Wisconsin missing a couple of key members on this year's team. One, Sam Oki, has transferred allegedly to Iowa, and Ty Calderwood, their starting point guard, a medical red shirt.
He was the only true point guard that the Badgers had.
Off the inbounds, Guyton missing a 3, and Doherty with the Badger rebound.
For the Badgers to win, they got to make this a half-court game.
Mike Kelly, the freshman point guard. Henzi Oriental, number 5. He's guarded by Indiana's Michael Lewis. Now Mason offers a 3, and Patterson with the IU rebound. A.J. Guyton, number 25. This is the freshman, Recker. Guyton delivers to Patterson. Rebounded by Doherty.
Patterson had great inside position. He should have finalized that shot. He rushed it too much.
Badgers the ball with a 2-0 lead. Just underway at the brand new Kohl Center. This is only the second game having been played in here by the Badgers. They opened it a week ago yesterday in a win over Northwestern. Mason missing for 3, and Patterson the Indiana rebound. How about this pace early, Coach?
A good pace for Wisconsin. They're trying to push the ball Indiana, but it's they created too many turnovers. That's their second turnover already in the first minute and a half.
Well, as you have said, Wisconsin relies on its defense, and that is presenting them with an opportunity to increase the lead. Mason off the drive, but a foul called out on the court.
Foul, I believe, was on Lewis.
First foul on Lewis. First team foul on IU. Oriental off the inbounds pass. Mason, a quick punch into Coleman. Booker Coleman giving the Badgers the 4-point lead.
Both teams are playing man-to-man.
Listen to the fans at the Kohl Center as they rev up early. We've played a little over 2 minutes. Guyton with the shot. A.J. Guyton, the leading scorer for the Hoosiers, getting Indiana on the board.
It might be the second coming of Isaiah Thomas.
A.J. Guyton, the sophomore guard, last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Doherty, guarded by William Gladness. And a foul call.
Doherty likes to play out in the court facing the basket. He's not much of a pivot man. Matter of fact, Wisconsin doesn't have a true center.
Wisconsin playing with 3 guards for Dick Bennett. That's how he likes to line it up, with a 3-guard offense. And that foul, by the way, on Gladness, his first. 2 team fouls on Indiana. About 17 minutes left for the half. Sean Mason.
He has to score.
And he does. Mason with his first 3 points today. So the Badgers moving out to a 5-point lead. Here's Recker with his first attempt. And the rebound controlled by Doherty.
Surprisingly, Jim, the Indiana's not throwing on the offensive board at all.
And Doherty doing a great job on the glass defensively for Wisconsin as a result. Doherty has it, works on Gladness. Nothing there, lefty. Guyton against Oriental. Ooh, a quick move by Guyton. The Mason against the 3-second count. He got the shot away.
It was longer than 3 seconds in the paint that time, but an Indiana fella touched the ball and it gave him a new 3-second count.
3-point lead for the Badgers this trip. Wisconsin has won 6 of its last 9. They are 6-3 at home, but only the one game played here at the Kohl Center. And Mason connects again from 3-point range.
You know, Jim, that Indiana won their last 4 games in a row, but they shot 55% offensively field goals, which I don't think they're going to shoot that today.
Guyton on the miss. Kelly, the Wisconsin rebound. Badgers in front by 6. Doherty. Mason's inside pass tipped away. The ball out of bounds. 15:31 remaining in the half. Wisconsin Badgers opening with the lead here, and Coach getting on the defensive glass.
Well, for the Badgers to win, they got to do 3 things. First of all, they got to make it a half-court game. Second, they got to offensively have a presence inside, and thirdly, they must limit their turnovers. If they do those 3 things, they can beat Indiana. Indiana, in my opinion, is a better ball club.
Indiana had a long winning streak going against the Wisconsin Badgers, although Wisconsin did win the last time up here in Madison last year by 13. That halted a 31-game Indiana winning streak at the time. Jim Durham with Al McGuire here in Madison. The Badgers off to a good start. They lead it 10-4 with 15:31 left. They've got a big crowd here at the Kohl Center, almost 17,000. This is a far cry from the old Wisconsin Fieldhouse, huh?
Well, I don't think they'll have the advantage here like they had at the old barn. The old barn for years was closer. This is spread out, and when Senator Herb Kohl donated this building to them, he wanted to put up the latest in the art of arenas, and this is outstanding.
And of course, they're so new in this building that, as Coach Dick Bennett told us yesterday, it's not a home court advantage for them yet.
I don't think this type of building will ever be much of a home court advantage because the crowd is away from you. You're better when they're hanging on top of you. There's very few snake pits left. Cameron down at Duke. I think that Minnesota, the Rays court up there in the Gopher Land. I also think out in Oregon at Eugene, that's kind of an old building. The newer buildings is not much of an advantage.
Wisconsin defensively obviously has keyed in on Luke Recker for this game, the Indiana freshman coming off that big game in their win over Purdue last weekend.
Well, he got 27 points against Purdue. He doesn't have any weakness in his game, and I believe that he'll start perking up. They got off to a slow start here. I'm surprised that Coach Knight hasn't made more substitutions. And normally he's quick on the yo-yo, but he's kind of being patient today.
So far in this game, IU just 2 of 6 from the field. The Badgers have hit 4 out of 7. And Indiana, of course, for the season shoots almost 50% from the floor as a team.
So almost 5 minutes into the game, and Coach Knight to stay with the same 5 he started with, that's a rare, rare thing.
And it's Gladness out putting pressure on Doherty. The pass to the inside knocked away, and the Hoosiers come away with a steal. Recker leaves it for Gladness, and Recker on the tip follow.
Basket by Recker.
Unbelievable move that time by Recker. He had the middle of the fast break, kicked it off to the right, then on the missed shot went in, fouled up and tapped it in.
5 minutes into the game. This is Sean Mason getting a shot up, but he's called for an offensive foul.
He gave what we call a swim stroke with his inside arm. His left arm, he pushed the man away. Good call by the ref.
First foul on Sean Mason. Indiana with a hoop can cut it to 2. A.J. Guyton. Oriental guards him.
Now we start pounding it down low to Patterson.
Here we go with Patterson from the top. Nice feed to Gladness.
Anytime interior, the bounce passing is the key, Jim. You can't defend against bounce passing in the interior play.
Kelly starts it with Mason. Michael Lewis guarding him. And the ball kicked out of bounds.
Well, here's the outstanding pass by Patterson. He got away with a walk there. He tries to the left, and there's a nice inside pass because they double teamed him and was automatic chippy.
Wisconsin with Andy Kowski in the lineup now, number 15, another promising freshman for the Badgers. And they also have Dwayne, number 3, in the game as well. Doherty with the shot. Tried to follow and picks up the foul instead.
Hey, Doherty goes down low. He can usually score from the baseline, but what he gives you in a ball game is usually 10 points and 5 rebounds. He won't give you much more than that.
Indiana with a chance to tie about 6 minutes into the first half. Lewis had it knocked away by Dwayne.
Doesn't understand the length of Dwayne's arms. Very, very long.
This is Patterson again off the drive, and he's called for a walk.
He did walk here, but I thought he was pushed. Watch here. There's the push right there that created the walk. Refs had a bad angle. I had a good one.
Wisconsin trying to increase the lead. They punch into Kowski. His shot is rejected by Patterson. Guyton to the loose ball.
I think Indiana just got to pound it inside.
Patterson checked by Kowski. Recker being guarded by Kelly. Now Recker has a 3-inch height advantage in that matchup. Good solid defense by the Badgers and a foul called on Oriental.
He was clear on the first touch. When he didn't turn it on the first touch, he tried to do it again. That's where he created the foul.
Mark Vershaw, number 50, coming on for Wisconsin.
One of their famous freshmen.
Indiana gets the ball in play to Recker. They've got Recker, Lewis, Gladness with a touch right here and called for a walk. And the Hoosiers also have Andre Patterson out there. Wisconsin operating with Kelly and Oriental at the guard spots. And Kowski working up front with Vershaw. And Dwayne also on the floor, number 3 for the Badgers. About 13 minutes left in the half. This is Dwayne. Vershaw, checked by Gladness.
Each time down, the Badgers to lead up some clock.
Underneath, it's Dwayne for the layup.
They nicknamed Dwayne Doc. Both his parents are teachers at IU, professors at IU.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes.
You're watching back in Bloomington. Off the back cut, nice play to Guyton. The ball knocked out of bounds by Wisconsin.
Nice look inside here to Dwayne. Vershaw sees him. Excellent pass for a freshman. Off his feet very quickly, releases. Yes.
And Rob Turner, who just came in for IU, will make the inbounds pass here. They also have Charlie Miller in the game, number 3. 12:34 for the half.
Oriental's doing a great job on Guyton.
There's the pass stolen by Oriental. Oriental's got Patterson to beat at this end. And the ball tipped out of bounds by Indiana.
Crowd wanted a charging call. I don't like too many things in the NBA, but that rule where they have that tight, where they can't call charging or blocking within 3 feet of the rim, I think that's an excellent rule.
Off the inbounds pass, the Badgers bring it to Kelly. 12-8 as Dwayne fires. And the rebound finally controlled by the Hoosiers.
Got to get AJ more in this game.
Indiana down by 4. Patterson makes the move, leaves it for Recker. And it's Kowski with the rebound for Wisconsin. $11:50 for the half. Indiana brought a 4-2 Big Ten record in today. Wisconsin has split its first 6 conference games.
Wisconsin has to hit from the perimeter. That's their weakness.
Dwayne with a quick move on Turner, and he's fouled right at the hoop. Andre Patterson called for the foul.
Andre Patterson has two problems in his game. Number one, he drifts sometimes. The other problem is he's foul prone. Now he come over from the weak side. DD gets baseline in here. He goes Doc up, and from the weak side comes Patterson. Yes.
Duaney, a 59% free throw shooter on the season. As you look at his average.
He's from Sudan. The reason why you have Duaney, the first male child also picks up the name Duaney, so it's Duaney.
So if you were there, it would be McGuire.
Yeah. And then it was my son, and he had a son, it'd be McGuire.
Mason coming back in for the Badgers.
Misses his first.
Just under 11 and a half minutes for the half. Duaney missed the second one. The rebound controlled by Indiana. Miller has it taken away by Kelly. Some move by Mike Kelly. Duaney on the tip foul and out of there by Patterson. Ahead to Recker, who's got everybody beat the other way. Luke Recker with 4 points and a half, and the Hoosiers are within 2. Vershaw making his move against Miller.
You got to take that, Mason. You can't pass up that one.
Mason continues to have the hot hand, though. He's got 8 points in the half.
Well, as we said from the top of the show, for them to win, he has to at least get 16.
A 4-point lead for the Badgers as Turner fires. The rebound to Mason.
Numbers aren't right, Mason.
Takes it anyway.
Made me a fool.
Mason's got the Badgers off to a 6-point lead. Oh, that's a nice move by A.J. Guyton.
Beautiful. Bird in the sky. Smooth. Guyton is certainly a keeper. Freshman of the year last year in the Big Ten.
They may have a freshman of the year this year in record. Halfway through the half, Duaney, no foul on that contact, and Turner gives it up to Guyton.
Oh, what a fake from the top.
Guyton missed on that one, and Kelly the rebound.
The refs are letting them play. They're not ticky-tack. No feather fouls or touch fouls. This game could get out of hand later.
Mason against Recker. It's Kelly, leaving it to Kowski.
Kowski did not get his head around. If you're going to make a hook shot, you got to get your head around to the basket.
Wisconsin has held Indiana to 12 points so far in the half. We're halfway through, and remember, the Hoosiers lead the conference in scoring over 80 points a game in league games. Vershaw, nice return to Mason, and a foul call.
Indiana's very slow reacting the first 10-12 minutes of the ball game here. They're not getting any of the loose balls, Jim. They're not getting any of the putbacks. Here's the fast break going down the other end. Nice and patient, catch the inside, kick back, and there's the foul.
Guyton called for his first personal as Mason hits good on the first one.
Mason only has one knee pad on, but he's had 2 knee operations, one on each knee, and to come back in that type of a condition and be able to play is remarkable.
Wisconsin has Maurice Linton in the ball game. Number 30, Doherty, has returned. Also, Bergkemper has checked in for the Badgers, number 25.
Mason's an unbelievably smooth ball handler.
Well, the 81% free throw shooter misses on that, but another foul called on Indiana, going for the rebound.
Indiana fouls number 30,
Gladness called for the foul. That's his second. And a timeout taken. Wisconsin with a 5-point edge.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by the all-new wide-track Grand.
Back here at Madison, the Wisconsin Badgers have the edge early by 5. We've got a little under 9 minutes left for the half.
Indiana just seems to be a half a step slow. They seem not to have the cobwebs out of them.
They've been off for a week. Do you think that's it?
I would say so, but normally Bobby Knight's very difficult when he has time to prepare. Maybe the best in the country at preparation. Dick Bennett's good with preparation, but they played Thursday night against Illinois and got beat down there.
Here's another foul called on the Hoosiers. That one is on Michael Lewis.
That's the 6th, so from now on it'll be 1-1.
For the Badgers, who have it in play with 8:55 left in the half. Vershaw working on Miller down low. He's got a size advantage. Linton rolls in for him. Maurice Linton.
Another freshman. They got 5 better than average freshmen in the class last year.
And Wisconsin has opened up a 7-point lead, their biggest. Lewis with the pass outside to Jimenez, who's in, number 12. Now it's Recker. Maybe somebody got a piece. Indiana keeps it. Recker ran into people, and he's called for the charge.
That's a little bit of frustration that time by Recker. The shot that he put up early, I think they caught his elbow, but here's the charge. It's an obvious charge. He committed himself too early off the floor, and that is a freshman mistake.
And that is his first foul of the game. Against Jimenez, Bergkamper starts it with Mason. Linton operating against Recker.
Got about 6 touches each time down. That means passes.
Out of the double team, a pitch out to Mason. Missed on that perimeter try, and the Hoosiers come away with a rebound. Recker out to Jimenez. Linton guarding him. Lewis with a nice drive.
Lewis normally mainly assist team type player, quarterback out there, but it seems that they're not moving. All of a sudden Lewis wants to get them going, and he's starting to look to score, which he very seldom does.
It's a 5-point lead for Wisconsin this trip. Both teams about to make some major substitutions. Each team with 3 players at the scorer's table as Vershaw misses, but Bergkamper tracks down the rebound.
Get a fresh shot clock. They'll work again now, 6-7 passes before a shot.
Just inside of 7 minutes for the half. They shoot early this time. That was Linton.
Well, the freshman made his first shot. The last 2 he put up with basket cases.
Jimenez on a 3. That's a big basket for IU. Luke Jimenez with the first 3 points of the game for him, and Indiana has cut it to 2.
He'll spot up in 3-point land every time down off a fast break.
Linton under the watchful eye of Recker.
Got to keep the ball in this man's hands, Sean Mason.
Mason off the drive, picks up some red shirts on the way in. He somehow stays with it, but he was out of bounds. Timeout taken, 6:15 left in the half. Wisconsin still hanging on by 2. Wisconsin hanging on. They're up by 2 so far in this one. The Badgers trying to do what they did last year to Indiana here, pull off the upset. And it's, to this point, Coach, it's Wisconsin's kind of game.
Well, you know what happened? They lost 31 straight games till last year they finally beat them. And Bobby Knight is 45-5 in his career against Wisconsin. But what Wisconsin's doing, they've scored 12 points inside the paint. They've limited their turnovers, and they've got a nice half-court offense. They are now governing the clock.
The Hoosiers with a chance to tie this trip. Jimenez gives to Guyton. Jimenez guarded by Duane. Kelly out putting some pressure on Recker.
I believe they should put Kelly down in the pivot. He's too big for Kelly.
That's Patterson missing, and Duane the Wisconsin rebound.
Not getting any second shots. Nice boxing out by the Badgers.
Wisconsin very patient offensively. Oriental checked by Recker. Doherty swings it on to Duane. Oriental with the miss. Patterson the rebound. A.J. Guyton outside to Jimenez, and again for 3. His second three-pointer.
Every school should have 2 fellas like this that can just score from out there. It stops zones, and you get put in. They got to pull someone out from down low to guard you.
Indiana with 8 points in a row and a 1-point lead. Oriental getting inside and then called for the offensive foul.
A.J. Guyton made a nice move here. He penetrates, then he kicks out, and that's the second trifecta.
That's also the second foul on Oriental. Dick Bennett's club had broken to the early lead, in fact led by as many as 7. Now with 8 straight points up there, the Hoosiers enjoy the 1-point lead. That's Coleman knocking a pass away intended for Patterson. The Badgers with a chance to recapture the lead. Stolen by Guyton. A.J. Guyton with the layup. And IU has a 3-point lead now with 10 in a row on the board.
Always got to know where A.J. Guyton is. He's that good.
Indiana has turned it over 8 times. The Badgers just 3. And that 10-point run has occurred in 4.5 minutes. Oriental puts a stop to it. Hennessy Oriental with that basket.
Big edge right now, Jim, is there's 7 personal fouls on Indiana and only 2 on Wisconsin. They can come out and be aggressive defensively.
This is Richardson, 33. And now a pass inside to Patterson. Draws the foul going in.
I don't like big men to put the ball down, but that time Patterson put the ball down, 1 dribble, went up and dunked it.
2 fouls on Doherty, 6 team fouls on Wisconsin. Andre Patterson on the free throw line, fouled in the act of shooting.
This young man has wonderful skills. I told you his 2 problems earlier. Sometime in the game he drifts, and he's also foul prone.
Here's a look at Andre Patterson's career at Indiana. Points per game. His junior year was his high water mark, 13.5, better than 13.5 points a game.
Long way from home. I think it's Abilene, Texas.
Shooting for the tie on this second free throw. Madison drops that second free throw. 3 points for him. 3:48 left in the half. 23-21 IU.
Center is located outside of section 119. And the UW Health First Aid Station is located outside of section 118.
Indiana leads it close late in the half. Coming up on Pennzoil at the half, Michelle Tafoya will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights, plus a look at ES News. We'll have a report updating the President Clinton situation.
Token pressure up court by IU. Want to keep the ball out of Kelly's hands if possible to get it to him.
Kelly has it operating against Guyton. Bergkemper. Vershaw. Bergkemper guarded by Recker. Vershaw, nice feed into Mason.
See, they're playing Mason backwards. They're trying to stop him from going around the picks to get the three-point land. So he went baseline for the two.
And he has 10 points in the half as Wisconsin pulls even at 23. Jimenez. Pressured by Mason. Patterson leaves it for Richardson, and the rebound to Kelly. Sean Mason being guarded by Jimenez. Vershaw left open again. It's Mason at the back door.
Broke down on the switch that time.
Coach, he's on his way to better than 16 points today. He's got 12.
Well, the Badgers are going to need more than 16 for them to win.
Here's Patterson and a foul called on Wisconsin.
Here's Mason, kick off. See that they tripped on the outside there. Mason just was open, so obviously, watch the fall right here. Here's another angle. There's the trip down. He's got a chippy. Even you could make that, Jim.
I don't know. Richardson goes out of the game. Gladness back in for Indiana. Patterson on the free throw line with a 1-and-1. That foul was called on Andy Kowski, the 6'8" freshman. Patterson earns the bonus. Andre Patterson averaging just under 10 points a game.
Doesn't seem possible. It's his senior year already.
And it's Vershaw with the rebound. The Badgers the ball up by 1. A little over 2 minutes left in the half.
It's been man-to-man all the way, drifting off the weak side of the court.
Jimenez putting some pressure on Mason. Vershaw with a little show and go and then lost it as A.J. Guyton made the steal. And Guyton goes coast to coast.
Just smooth, silky, no effort, svelte type player. I personally believe that college basketball is getting too physical.
Mason missing, rebounded by Gladness. That leading to some of the injuries, you think?
Well, the knee injuries in women's sports, in women's basketball, it's an epidemic. I think the knee injuries are the players are playing all year round, and also the weightlifting. I think there's too much weightlifting, and ball players only take care of the top of their body, not the bottom of their body. And the shoes are fine; they're not costly. But in the woman's knee, they say that it's not built the same way as the man's knee.
Guyton missing the front end. Kowski the rebound. That foul, by the way, was on Kelly, and that's his first. Wisconsin the ball, trailing by 1. Recker on Bergkemper. Vershaw gives it up to Mason. Kowski. Luke Brecker with the rebound for Indiana.
Had the shot, but not at that time. You're in a one-on-one situation. I drive looking for the foul.
And that's what Guyton does and draws the foul.
And they're in a one-on-one now. Indiana will go to the foul line, the charity stripe. Nice move by Guyton. He likes the baseline. He clears out with that inside arm. Kelly grabbed his shirt and then followed through. But that wasn't. It shouldn't be a two-shot foul. It should be a one-on-one.
That's Richardson back in for Indiana. A.J. Guyton with 1:05 left in the half. Back on the line for Indiana, shooting a 1-and-1, and the foul on Kelly is his second. And Guyton misses on the front end.
Good break for Wisconsin.
Inside of a minute for the half. Duaney against Jimenez.
They shouldn't take it too far down because they got 2 for 1 possession on the clock if they shoot right now.
Indiana with some good pressure on the ball, and then a foul on Record. Second foul on Luke Record. Here you get a look at this replay as Record picks up his second personal foul, and Duaney is on the free throw line.
Which allows him now another possession because there's 42 seconds on the shot clock.
Duaney normally not a good free throw shooter, but he drops that one.
What that means, Indiana gets the ball, comes down, eats up 15, 20 seconds. Wisconsin got to get the ball back before halftime.
And they will, because it's 7.8 difference on the clock. 2 free throws by Duaney, a 1-point lead for Wisconsin. As we close it out here in the first half, a near capacity crowd in the Kohl Center making some noise. Patterson off the drive. Loose ball recovered by Jimenez. It's Recker who comes up shooting. Taken out by Wisconsin.
Bad move by Recker. Recker at that particular time should have went for the new clock, and Wisconsin wouldn't have got the ball back.
Dick Bennett taking a 20-second timeout for the Badgers with 19.4 left in the half.
1958 to 68, Pelé I thought was the best athlete in the world, and from 68 to 70 I thought it was Dan Gable, the wrestler, then Wayne Gretzky, and the last 10 years I thought it was Michael Jordan. Now the decision I got to make this year for 1998 will it be Tiger Woods or will it be Brett Favre for the next 10 years?
You might get that answered somewhat later this afternoon.
I'm not going to tell you who's going to win, but the score is going to be 34-10.
Okay, 6 seconds left in the half. Mason takes a look at the clock. He's got Guyton on him. And Mason with a pass inside. Beautifully done. The basket is scored by Sean Doherty at the buzzer.
Excellent assist by Mason that time. I thought he also got fouled. And the clock is ticking down. It's down to 3 and some change. A tenth of a second. He penetrates. They collapse on him. Circus pass. No, he wasn't fouled. Great move.
That's the end of the first half. Wisconsin 20.
Well, there's been about how many points inside the paint?
32. Indiana in possession as the second half begins. They have got Jimenez starting in the second half. He came off the bench in the first half.
What they got to do, Jim, they got to have Guyton penetrate more, and I would also, when Recker comes back in, I would put him down low in the post.
You're right, Recker on the bench to start the second half. Michael Lewis controlling against Kelly.
We're going to free Guyton down low.
Patterson gets the shot away over Coleman. And there's Doherty. This is the way the game began, with Doherty getting on the defensive backboard.
That was too tough of a shot for the opening shot in the second half, being down 3 points.
Indiana averaging on the season better than 76.5 points a game and a little more than 80 in conference play, but only 26 points on the board in the first half.
Neither team has a center. Doherty likes to play out in the court. That's where he took that 17-footer from.
Mason called for the foul on the rebound. Sean Mason has his second.
Foul is on Sean Mason, his second. Team's first.
Indiana on the road this year, 2-3. They are 1-1 on the road in conference play. And today they are putting a 4-game winning streak on the line here in Madison, where they lost last year when they came in by 13.
Trying to get the ball to Guyton, and Bennett's defense is stopping. There it is. He'll do something with it.
He's got Oriental on him.
Oriental is like cement glue.
Jimenez to Patterson. Patterson with a shot, and the basket is good, and a foul called on Booker Coleman.
And the Wisconsin foul is on Booker Coleman, his second.
Patterson got nice position about 12 feet from the basket there. Turns around and faces. How to make a move. Once you make the move defensively, the offense man has the advantage. Can end up getting 3 points the old-fashioned way.
He does that. That's 7 points for Patterson today, and Indiana pulls even at 29. Mike Kelly, freshman point guard for Wisconsin, guarded by Guyton.
It's Mason time. You got to get the ball to Mason. He has the hot hand.
It's Oriental instead, serving it up to Doherty. He hit the bottom edge of the backboard. Indiana back looking for the lead. Guyton with a pitch out. They line up Jimenez for 3. And it's tipped in by Patterson.
That's what they needed the first half. They didn't get any offensive putbacks. Someone forgot to put a body on Patterson.
9 points for Patterson. He opens with the first 5 points of the second half, and that's Doherty hitting.
That was huge. It was a long 2, but it stopped the bleeding.
And gets Wisconsin back to a 31-31 tie. We're early in the second half here at Madison. And away from the ball, we've got a foul called on Indiana.
It was on Lewis. Illegal pick, illegal screen.
Michael Lewis has his 3rd foul.
After he passes the ball, watch him pass it. Now he sets up the illegal screen. There it is right there. Didn't leave enough room. Good call.
Wisconsin making a change. Kowski back in the lineup, number 15. Doherty remains in the ball game. Coleman is out. And they finally get a shot for Mason. The ball tipped away. The Hoosiers have it.
They moved in Kowski to work on Patterson because Kowski's more physical, can neutralize the strength of Patterson.
Lewis guarded by Kelly. Guyton nearly lost it trying to make a move against Oriental, and on the layup, it's Gladness.
Unbelievable bounce pass, off balance. Shows the athletic ability of A.J. Guyton.
William Gladness with 4 points today. We've played 3 minutes here in the second half. Henzi Oriental. Under to Doherty.
Patterson plays too much behind the pivot. You can't play the guy's rear end. You got to play his thighs, one side or the other. Automatic 2 points, you play the rear end.
Sean Doherty has 8 points in the game. Patterson had it chopped away by Oriental, who dropped down in the double team.
Tempo of the game is all Badgers.
Bob Knight going to Robbie Eggers, number 32. He didn't play in the first half. Gladness is out of the game. This is Guyton offering a 3, and it's rebounded by Doherty. That's 6 rebounds today for Sean Doherty.
Usually gives you 5 rebounds a game, so something special. Usually gives you about 10 points.
So he's a little better than average rebounding already. And we've got 16-15 left. Oriental missing on a 3. Michael Lewis advancing and finds Jimenez at 3-point range. It's Patterson with the long rebound. Lewis going inside and a foul.
Too much arms on Kelly.
That will be the 3rd foul on Mike Kelly.
This was a legitimate throwdown. Watch Kelly just throw down in there. Good follow through. Lewis heard the whistle, put the ball up, so he gets 2 shots.
A good free throw shooter, 86%. Points scored today for Michael Lewis in the game.
Well, he's a peppery player. He picks up the pace when he's in there. Team runs better with him.
That free throw gives Indiana the 1-point lead. Bob Knight coaching today in his 825th collegiate game.
I'm saying Bobby's 57 years of age. He should stay till he's 65. If he wins 20 games a year, if he's 65, he will set the record. He'll beat Dean Smith. Dean Smith has 879 wins. Bobby Knight today has 713.
So that's like 20 wins a year, right?
Yeah, they only stay another 8 years.
Guyton on the miss, Patterson on the follow. Andre Patterson has 11, 7 early in the second half, and Indiana has equaled its largest lead at 3.
They got to get up on Doherty.
Missed on the 3 try. Lewis to the ball. A.J. Guyton. Lewis leaves it for Jimenez, and they have to run out at him now. Jimenez turned away by Doherty.
It's too close for Jimenez.
And there's Guyton back at the hoop. A missed tip, and Wisconsin the ball as Kowski came down with it.
Johnny Ryder pony. The old game we used to play in the Bronx in New York where you jumped all over everybody.
A foul on Kowski as he came through. No, a foul on Indiana.
A little bit too aggressive on Kowski that time.
Robbie Eggers called for the foul. 14:53 for the game. The Hoosiers by 3. At Michigan for the national championship. The Hoosiers' Kent Benson was dominant. He had 25 points and 9 rebounds. Benson was named tournament MVP as Indiana capped a perfect 32-0 season with its 3rd NCAA title. A couple of teams have a chance at going undefeated. Rick Majerus in Utah, and Stanford won a thriller yesterday.
I doubt if either one will go undefeated. Stanford won at the buzzer. A guy hit a 3-pointer, allowed him to win by a point. Rick Majerus was on my coaching staff for years. He's doing a magnificent job out there in Utah, but they won't go undefeated. The best team ever, Jim, in basketball was Lou Alcindor's senior year. The second best team was at San Francisco, Bill Russell's junior year. And the third best was Bobby Knight's team in 1976 when they went undefeated. There's a turnover.
Wrecker a steal. He came in after the timeout. Oriental with the rebound.
That was a long way getting the 3 best teams, but Bobby Knight's Indiana team is the 3rd best team in the history of college basketball.
Wrecker out defending Oriental. Mason hosting Lewis. Sean Mason stays with it. And on the rebound, it's out of bounds. It belongs to Indiana.
It's off Doherty. Nice moves underneath by Mason. This is a situation where I think Luke Wrecker should go down low in the post and use his 6'6" height as an advantage.
Lewis with Mason on him. Now they go into Patterson, who's been so active here in the second half. 13 points for Patterson.
Coleman isn't physical enough to handle Patterson.
It's a 5-point lead for Indiana, the biggest lead of the game for the Hoosiers. Wisconsin led by as many as 7 in the first half. A missed steal by Eggers. Mason has it against Lewis.
No one needs a few baskets here as Kelly has to come up with something.
3 try by Mason. Doherty the offensive rebound and served it up lefty.
Doherty had the hops that time.
Here's a lob inside, loose, out of bounds. It was an alley-oop intended for Patterson.
That's what gets Coach Knight frustrated. I get the biggest joke about people talking about Coach Knight. For the last 12 years, he's gone to the NCAA. I think because they lost the first round the last 3 years that people are getting upset.
There's Mason. He guided that one in. Sean Mason with his first 2 points in the second half. He's got 14 in the game. And now 15,000 begin to make some noise.
Coach Knight doesn't believe in calling timeouts in these situations to try to get his team to work through them.
Lewis picks it up underneath to Wrecker. And it's out of bounds to Indiana.
That's what I said. You get Recca down low. Kelly's too short to cover him.
Sean Mason going out of the game. Duaney has returned for Wisconsin. Recker off the inbounds pass, and Doherty the rebound. 8 rebounds today for Sean Doherty. After the Hoosiers went up by 5, Wisconsin with a chance to regain the lead. Duaney for 3. Rebounded by Doherty. And again Doherty, and he's fouled.
Wow, that gives him what, 10 rebounds already? This is a career game so far for Doherty. He likes playing facing the basket. He usually never puts his back to the basket. Misses that one, stays with it, goes back up and gets fouled.
The foul on Patterson. Patterson has his second foul. Doherty is a 68% free throw shooter. And he drops that one. With the conclusion of today's game, we will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player. Doherty drops them both.
Well, he has big games. You know why, Jim? He's from the state of Indiana. They didn't recruit him.
And the Badgers, as a result of those 2 free throws, lead it by 1. And making the drive was Lewis, but he was fouled out on the court.
A little bit too much hands by Duaney, I believe. Got himself a half a step down towards the baseline, and there's the too much hands. He touched the hip.
Yeah, they miscalled the foul. The public address announcer announced it was on Booker Coleman. But you had it right. It was on Duaney. And so the officials now having to go over and correct. Oh, they leave it on Coleman, apparently.
Both coaches are up. They kind of looking at each other. They're both saying, hey, why are these guys getting paid so much?
That's big that's the 3rd foul on Coleman. Hey, they should be looking at a replay like we do.
Well,
they would have had it right.
They're not allowed to come over here, but they can go over to the other bench and look. They go over to the scorer's table across and look.
They got it right, Coach.
Yeah, they're not allowed to come to us. All right, there's Jim, and they hug and they kiss, and now they go back as warriors to their own little pit.
That foul, the first on Duaney in the game. 12:23 left in the half, and a 1-point lead for Wisconsin. Inbounds nearly deflected by Coleman. Lewis. And now it's Guyton off the drive. And that was Doherty's interior defense, but on the rebound, a foul on Wisconsin. And that one is on Coleman.
The Wisconsin fouls on Booker Coleman, his 3rd. Team's 5th.
3 fouls on Coleman.
See, here's Coleman early in the discussion. He is holding Patterson. Now watch as Patterson moves to hold his jersey. But the other foul was Duaney on Lewis going to the baseline.
Right. Gladness shooting 2.
Ooh, he got a prayer. Happy birthday. You know what? He's married. Very few people ever that played for Bobby Knight were married. This fella's out of junior college. Well, 2 of them. Turner's also out of junior college.
That's got to be tough experience on a marriage. 6 points for Gladness.
Playing for Coach Knight. Let me tell you, anyone that plays for Coach Knight knows more about him than he knows about them. The parents and everyone, they know exactly how Bobby Knight coaches. You can't knock his coaching.
Oriental finding Doherty. And the rebound to Recker. So the Hoosiers the ball with a 1-point lead. Guyton runs into Doherty. Gladness operates on Doherty.
Gladness doesn't get his head around, Jim, on his hook shots. They won't go in. You got to get your head around first. See the basket.
Oriental with Lewis on him. Doherty doubled up, and 3 Hoosiers on him, and Oriental takes a 3. Kenzie Oriental with his second 3-pointer today. Wisconsin with a 2-point lead and 11 minutes roughly remaining. Patterson off the turnaround. The Badgers the rebound as Oriental clears it.
Big stop here for the Hoosiers.
Doherty from the outside. Kelly the offensive rebound. Oriental with Lewis on him. A 2-point lead for Wisconsin. 10.5 minutes for the second half. Oriental lost the handle. Lewis to Guyton, into Kelly. No call, but it's tipped in by Gladness.
Doherty can mold a double team, which left Gladness open underneath.
William Gladness has 8 points in the game. 7 points has been the biggest lead either way. That by Wisconsin in the first half. 10 minutes left for regulation. Dwayne, air ball. Indiana with some numbers here, and it's Gladness called for the offensive foul.
They got to get Mason back in the ball game for Wisconsin.
Timeout. CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue.
NCAA 1998 Women's Golf Championship tickets are now available at the University Athletic Ticket Office. Don't miss the championship excitement as Madison plays host to the top teams in the country. Get your 1998 NCAA Women's Golf Championship tickets while they're still available.
Tie game with 9:49 left. Now let's check out the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. We looked at this at halftime, Coach. Points in the paint.
Surprisingly, Wisconsin having 20. I'm not surprised Indiana getting 26. But again, as we said earlier, Jim, it's a true Big Ten game. Black and blue division.
Find out more about team and player stats for every Division I team and get the latest scores and breaking news at cbs.sportsline.com. Wisconsin in possession. Guyton putting some pressure on Burkemper. Mason operating on Lewis and works him around a Coleman screen. Vershaw, who's in for the Badgers. Gladness defending him.
Burkemper just the screen, block, protect the ball, won't hurt you when he's out there.
A pass to Coleman and a reach-in foul call. A kick ball, I should say. So Wisconsin the ball with 9:24 left. Mason with Lewis defending on him. Here's Vershaw.
A freshman, he's 6'9", a good movement, and he's a star to be in the future.
That's his first 2 points today, and a clutch hoop. It puts Wisconsin up by 2.
I think he's out of high school in Whitefish Bay, Dominican High, I think.
Yep. Recker under some pressure and gives it up to Guyton. Guyton fires. Rebound to Burkemper.
Now he protects the ball when he comes down. Doesn't want it, just wants to play. He knows his role.
Wisconsin looking to extend on the 2-point advantage as Mason gets inside. No basket. A foul call before the shot.
Here's a freshman down low, Vershaw. And watch, he just has confidence. Usually a freshman hurries things. He doesn't. He's patient. He does a fadeaway jumper from the low post with his back to the basket.
That foul on the Hoosiers was on Guyton, his second. Bergkemper against Guyton. Now Mason driving on Recker. That one fell short, but Wisconsin recaptures underneath, and Coleman is fouled by Richardson.
That's a very difficult call. Coleman comes from the baseline and forces himself out. Richardson was holding his ground. Very difficult call. I think a no whistle on this is the best. Now here's the missed shot. Now here, all of a sudden Coleman gets the ball. Now Richardson, watch, is standing there and he forces his way out. Better than no call.
Coleman hits the free throw. Next Saturday on CBS, the Golden Goat on Sunday.
Booker finishes his foul shots, makes both. Surprisingly, he was on the red team for 3 years. That means he wore the red shirts in practice. All of a sudden now he's a starter as a senior.
And you're right, making contributions. Those free throws don't come easy for him. 61% on the season.
They should get the ball down to Patterson because Coleman can't guard him. There you are.
He's surrounded, had the ball chopped away, and a foul against Wisconsin.
Bergkemper, I think they called it on.
Called it on Vershaw.
They did call it on Vershaw. Here's the banging inside. He gets the inside position. He puts it down, controls the ball, which is very difficult to bounce the ball in traffic like that. And there's the foul on the freshman.
Andre Patterson, 13 points today, a lot of damage in the second half. Patterson with 10 of his 14 in this half. Patterson drops them both. A timeout taken. 7:50 left for the half. 3-point lead, Wisconsin.
Everything in the style of
to a 46-46 tie.
Well, with 7:30 left in the ball game, I believe it's going to be foul shooting. If you don't make your foul shot, you cannot win this game.
Indiana would have a slight edge in that department as a team. They came in shooting 72%. Wisconsin at 69%.
I get the ball into Mason's hands.
He's got it right now, and the ball nearly stolen by Lewis. Sean Mason gives it up to Oriental. Vershaw again working in the post.
He's tough.
He really is. Missed the shot though on Miller. The ball out of bounds to Indiana.
No, that ball definitely went off Indiana that time. Definitely. Here's the shot. He takes his time up off the rim, and there it is, right off Indiana. They'll make up for it.
This is Miller making the drive into a crowd, and an offensive foul called on Charlie Miller.
There's the makeup. Here comes the drive across. It is a foul, a charging foul, but they missed the last one. So that's what we call the good refs make it up.
A tie game just inside of 7 minutes remaining. Recker out defending against Oriental. And as Oriental drove into the lane, a foul on Recker, his third. The Hoosiers are over the limit. And a 1-and-1 situation for Henze Oriental.
Bobby Knight's talking to himself. Luke Recker, Bobby cannot cover Oriental. Oriental's a little bit too quick for Recker on the open court. Matter of fact, it's much too quick.
Oriental missing the free throw, but there's Doherty with another big rebound.
That wasn't only a big one, that was a huge one.
Mason on the drive.
Oh, what a runner he hit that time.
Wisconsin has taken the lead. 6:25 remaining. Recker serves it up to Patterson. A beautiful play.
Nice no-look pass down low by Luke Recker.
Andre Patterson has equaled his season high with 19 points. Inside of 6 minutes. Oriental around a pick by Kelly. Shoots for three. And it's Patterson with the rebound.
That's a no-no. You can't give him an open shot from the top of the key.
IU looking for the lead. Luke Rector gets to the hoop and draws the foul. The basket is good.
I told you early many times, Kelly's too short to cover Rector. Once Rector gets down low, he has too much of an advantage. Rector takes him down to the right side of the court. Once he gets down in here low, he just scores over. I'm surprised it took so long for Indiana to get the ball to Rector down low.
That foul on Sean Mason is his third. Rector is a 75% free throw shooter. He completes the three-point play, and IU has the three-point lead.
Looking to get a quick TO here. Turnover.
Vershaw under pressure, nearly coughed it up.
Oriental's free, so is Doherty. Now you should have taken that one, Doherty. I'm surprised you passed it up.
Now Oriental covered by Rector. Doherty in a sea of red. A.J. Guyton out guarding Mason. Vershaw works around a pick by Kelly. Missed the shot, but drew the foul.
Yeah, Lewis stepped in. He had a nice seam inside there, man-to-man. See, he got the seam here. Then Lewis stepped in. Good call by the ref. Tried to kiss it off the glass to get a three-point play, possibly. But he'd go to the line for 2 charity shots.
And Vershaw, a 57% free throw shooter, just 2 points today. Bags that first one. Tonight on CBS, Mike Wallace remembers the TVA veteran at 79. Looks back and comments on clips featuring, among others, Richard Nixon and Barbara's CBS special Gypsy. Ben Midler, Cynthia Carr, Peter Reichert, Edward Asner. That's tonight on CBS.
You got to remember, Jim Vershaw will take it to the basket. He's a good passer, but he'll drive the basket if he gets the opportunity.
It's a 1-point lead this trip for Indiana. Less than 5 minutes for the game.
They want to get it down to Patterson.
He's been so big for them in the second half, and Andre Patterson has a new season high.
Doherty isn't physical enough to stop Patterson.
Kelly, he gets inside, but he's called for the offensive foul. Mike Kelly has his 4th foul.
Well, he's a freshman. He made a freshman mistake. He committed too soon to the air. Once he committed to the air, it was automatic charging.
So it's Patterson doing it both ends of the floor. He scores here and he takes the charge at this end.
Well, if I had his body, I'd take a charge too.
4.5 minutes roughly. Indiana the ball, nursing a 3-point lead.
Bobby Knight's looking for his 714th win. He tied Babe Ruth's record. I think Babe Ruth had 714 home runs.
He's got that right.
He's inside again, Patterson.
Patterson trying to call the timeout, but he is tied up, and it goes to Wisconsin.
If you catch in a replay here, Patterson tries to call the timeout verbally. Gets the ball, can't get the handle on the ball, puts it on the floor. Now he looks at the official and says timeout, but the official says, I don't read lips.
And he couldn't make the sign. He couldn't make that timeout sign with his hands. So the Badgers in a big possession with a little over 4 minutes left. They trail by 3.
If they don't score, they got to get the foul. They should penetrate.
Sean Mason, their leading scorer. Vershaw down in the post, and it's Oriental going the other way to Doherty. Doherty misses Mason with a follow. Doherty again, and Miller has it for Indiana.
He had 3 opportunities, then nothing dropped.
Patterson off the drive on Doherty.
Oh,
man, what a
excellent.
game for Andre Patterson.
Boy, he went over for the dunk. He's staying down. I hope he's not injured. Maybe his foot came down on someone else's foot. I hope not.
Here's a look at his most recent offensive exploit.
He drives to the baseline. Now he goes over and makes the dunk over the man. I can't catch his feet and see how he came down. Let's see if we get it on this angle. No, we just can't catch it. He just came down wrong. Let's take another look at this. Where he's on the baseline. He's going over for the dunk. an absolute pro play.
Officials timeout.
He said ouch right away, so
An official's timeout taken. 55-50, Indiana with its biggest lead. Indiana with a 5-point lead, a little better than 3.5 minutes remaining here at Madison. Andre Patterson, who has been such a big part of that IU offense this afternoon, injured on the last play.
well, in the second half, Jim, he scored 19 of the 29 points. It's not his ankle; it must have been cramped up, and they're trying to loosen the calf muscle there. I don't know if you'll see him back in the ball game. I think you will, because he walked off pretty even.
Wisconsin gets it in play to Vershaw. He's under heavy pressure. They're up against a 10-second count here. Vershaw on the dribble.
Got 1 second to get it over. Good
And
timeout.
they did take the timeout.
Big time timeout there. Well, I was looking at the shot clock, Jim. The shot clock added 26. The shot now Bobby and the team are saying, hey, the shot clock's at 25. He called the timeout at 26. Believe me. But Bob's saying the shot clock is wrong. Too small of a thing, Bob. No, don't go after the mice when the elephant walks out the door.
There's a look at it. It reads 25.
Yeah, but the timeout was called just
Right.
before it. You know, too much time. The shot clock is kicking down. Now, right near the 10-second line, right here, he will call the timeout. Excellent timeout call. They definitely would have lost the ball. And at this time of the game, just morally losing the ball would be a tremendous sledgehammer blow to them.
So just shy of the 10-second line, the Badgers look to bring it in. And now Kelly brings it up.
Well, it's now or never for Mason. Mason has to do it for him.
He's got it, guarded by Lewis. Vershaw double team, his pass deflected. Miller got a hand on it, then Vershaw called for the foul that will put Michael Lewis on the free throw line.
Vershaw that time did it out of frustration.
Vershaw, his second, team's 10.
Over 3 minutes left. There's a look at the game reset. Both teams with 9 team fouls.
For Indiana, Lewis, 22.
2:20s left for Indiana. 2 full timeouts each way.
One more foul either way is the super bonus, which comes in too early. I mean, 10 is too soon. You go to automatic 2 shots at the 10 foul mark. I think it should be 12 or 13.
Wouldn't have mattered that time for Lewis. He drops them both. He has 5. And the biggest lead now for Indiana, a 7-point advantage with 3 minutes left.
Wisconsin got to go one-on-one. That means they got to go blacktop, I call it. Just go on their own like that.
And it's Mason off the glass.
Mason.
18 points for Sean Mason.
And there's a lifetime left. There's 2 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Guyton, he's left open for 3 and hits it.
That's why he's going to be a Super Bowl player. When it gets down to the short strokes, prime time, all of a sudden A.J. Guyton is the man.
And now the Hoosiers with the biggest lead of the game either way. Mason counters with a 3.
It's going to happen. I told you a minute ago it has to be Mason.
Mason with 21, and now it's a 5-point lead for Indiana with this timeout taken. It's only national championship, 39-34, a victory over Washington State.
Bud Foster's in the Hall of Fame. There's only 2 active coaches today in the Hall of Fame, and that happens to be Bobby Knight and Pasco from UTEP.
And you just saw Andre Patterson back into the game for Indiana, so he's back from his injury. Patterson leading the way for the Hoosiers today with 23 points.
The big thing now is that Wisconsin has to box out, not give him a second shot.
Guyton, A.J. Guyton has 13 in the game, 5 in the second half. Now Wisconsin, known for its deliberate style, they're going to have to pick it up a bit. And so they do. Mason offers the three. Madison the rebound.
They'll work some clock now. They'll force Wisconsin to come out and foul. They're automatically 2-shot fouls. Can't let the clock tick. You got to foul someone. The weaker foul shooters.
A.J. Guyton guarded by Oriental.
You don't want to foul him. You don't want to foul Brecker. You don't want to foul Lewis.
Lewis is an 86%. There's a foul you might take. Charlie Miller, not a bad free throw shooter, but he hasn't been on the line today.
Well, I fouled Miller because he's not sweating. He doesn't have enough PT today, and you get a better chance, even though he's a senior. Normally you try to foul underclassmen.
At the line for Indiana, Charlie Miller, shooting 2.
It's a 3-possession game.
Charlie Miller hits the free throw. He's a 78% free throw shooter, and it's back to an 8-point lead. He can give Indiana its biggest lead of the day with this one.
Wisconsin got to go for 3-point land now. If Miller makes this, it's a 9-point lead, so 3 possessions, 3 points, 3 times down, and you got a TO. That's daydreaming, but you never know.
Vershaw checking back in, number 50 for Wisconsin. Coleman is out, and Miller drops both free throws. So the Hoosiers with their biggest lead. A crowd of over 15,000 at the Kohl Center starting to file out. Doherty operating down low, and Miller called for the foul.
Earlier this week, Jim, in the women's basketball game against Iowa, they set the record for the Big Ten in the Senator Herb Kohl Center here. They had over 16,000 people.
Doherty on the free throw line to shoot 2, a 68% free throw shooter. Don't forget next weekend the season premiere.
Yes, they've beaten Elves. But I never tell any of my children or grandchildren about what to do in golf. Tiger Woods earlier in the year 4-putted from 12 feet out.
Doherty with 14 points. This game's still alive for Wisconsin. And a foul on Oriental guarding A.J. Guyton.
Wisconsin fouls on Henry Oriental, his 3rd.
3 fouls on him.
I thought Doherty should have missed that last foul on purpose because you needed the 3 possessions. You get the rebound, you can make up another possession.
Guyton is a 78% free throw shooter. Dick Bennett and Wisconsin about to go down for the 2nd game in a row. They lost at Illinois earlier in the week. Illinois, though, pulled off a big win this afternoon against Michigan. Guyton missing the first of 2. You're looking at the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year. And here's a list of some of the prominent IU Freshmen of the Year in the Big Ten.
There's no doubt he's an outstanding ball player. He doesn't rush anything. He sees the game in slow motion. Great players, Jim, see the game in slow motion.
And a foul called on the rebound.
I have a chance to tell a story here, I hope.
You do?
That, 27 years ago, Bobby Knight was at Army. He was the youngest coach in the country. He came to Wisconsin and interviewed for the job. He said he would take the job, but I want to go back and tell the people at West Point that I'm leaving. He got back to West Point, and at the airport, they released it out of Madison that he was coming to Wisconsin. He said, I'm not coming because of that. He ended up at Indiana, 3 championships later, won the NIT, won the Olympics, won the gold there, won the Pan Am game, on and on and on. And funny what one breakdown in communication does. The one of a nail.
Or he would have been 27 years here, perhaps.
But 27 years of above the trees. I was glad he didn't come. I was coaching at that time at Marquette.
Vershaw drops both free throws, and it's a Badger team that has closed to within 5 with 1:05 left. Miller is fouled by Doherty.
They talk about Bobby Knight. Listen up to this. In the last 34 games against the University of Wisconsin, Wisconsin has won 1 ball game. I mean, that's frightening.
That was last year, and they won it by 13.
And they started off the game last year, a 17-0 run. Indiana didn't break their stride till Wisconsin had 17 points.
So So Indiana made a bit of a comeback in that they dropped it by 13. Miller missing the first of two. 1:03 left.
And we got a 5-point spread, so even if he makes this, you're down to 2 possessions now. The big thing you got to remember, Wisconsin only has 1 timeout left. It's a full timeout. And the arrow favors Indiana.
So it's a 6-point lead.
And they're in nice shape. Not in great shape, but they're in nice shape, but they got to go for the 3 points. Got to.
William Gladness back into the game for the Hoosiers.
1 minute remaining in the game.
Nation will get the shot off one way or the other. You don't want to drive down low.
He drives on Lewis and misses the layup. And with that, the Badgers may have missed an opportunity at their second straight upset against the Hoosiers up here in Madison. And now IU playing keep away. And the foul call that will put Lewis on the free throw line. The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game. Andre Patterson from Indiana had a big second half. Had a season high 23 points in the game. And Sean Doherty from Wisconsin, he's the most valuable player from the Badgers. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. Lewis dead center at the free throw line and a 20-second timeout taken with 44.3 remaining.
Bobby just doesn't want any mistakes. He doesn't want any fouls. He doesn't want them to score where the clock is stopped. If he was a zone type of coach, he'd go to a zone, but he only plays kind of combination zone. So he'll stay man-to-man, but he's saying, hey, let's no 3-point play. Let's bury into the perimeter shooters so they don't get the 3 points from out there. But if they get inside and they penetrate, leave them alone. Don't commit the foul.
Tell you what, if Indiana hangs on here, there's going to be a real log jam in the Big Ten race. Look at that, Michigan State by only a half game over Michigan, Purdue, Illinois, and then Indiana, if they win this one, they're 5-2.
Well, they'll have 6 teams go to the NCAA and maybe 1 team out of their tournament, which is March 6th and 8th at the United Center in Chicago.
And as a result of that conference tournament, only 16 games played in the regular season. Indiana and Wisconsin, this is a couple teams that will only play this time this year.
I just told you what would happen. You see where Patterson let him have the shot underneath? They're not going to commit a 3-point play.
Sean Mason called for that foul. Well, we welcome the audience that watched Louisville and UCLA. Jim Durham with Al McGuire. We're in the final seconds here at Madison. And the Indiana Hoosiers, after trailing early, have opened up a 9-point lead, and Indiana trying to win its 5th in a row. UCLA coming up with a victory this afternoon, so they will remain holding their ranking, obviously.
Well, they got to hope that Stanford stubs their toe or gets a mega in their tie.
10-point ball game now as Duane gets the shot away, and Michael Lewis with the rebound for the Hoosiers.
They'll just ice it out and get to watch the Super Bowl.
Final seconds of the game, winding off here at the Kohl Center in front of the remnants of a crowd of 15,511. Indiana has the victory. The Hoosiers improved to 14-5 overall. They are 5-2 in conference play, and they have won 5 in a row. So that's it from Madison. For Al McGuire, Jim Durham saying so long from the Kohl Center. Indiana 69, Wisconsin 59. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the men's NCAA basketball championship. Michelle Tafoya will be along in a moment. That's it from Wisconsin. Jim Durham for Al McGuire. So long.